coming. There's some new faces in our class today. My name's Mandy, and this is Indigenous Studies 107. And we're really glad to welcome everyone to join us today, and especially to Evelyn and Riley Burns again for agreeing to come and share with us a bit about their residential school experiences and some of their knowledge. And I thought that I would bring tobacco and offer it to you both, just especially to make sure that everyone in the room, those who weren't with us last time, could learn a bit about this as well. So I'll just pass everything on to Riley and Evelyn.
First of all, it's always a protocol for me to encourage you now. Asking the Creator to look at us and hoping that we do the right, say the right thing and help us out in our jobs. And sometimes it gets very emotional. So it's not something you want to tell all the time. But in order for you guys, the people, to understand what we went through and what we're doing to start healing. We're lucky we started healing in 1981. We started in 1978, but it wasn't a real thing till we found out what was bothering us. It was the residential school and what happened to us. It wasn't just alcohol. When we found that out, we started dealing with it. Okay, I want to say a little prayer. You've probably heard it before, but it's a prayer that covers everything. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Give me the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Don't mind me. I get to be a fall towards the evening. I can talk in the morning, and I have lupus, and it's bothering my, and towards the evening I start losing my voice. So if you see me going like this, I'm telling you to get going and finish it off. And as I said, it's not a very easy thing to talk about. But we've got a book here, and I want to pass it around and you can look through it. This is what we done at Margaret Riel. That's where we were. We worked to put this book together. I wasn't there when they were doing the book. But this is stories they've gotten from different people who went to residential school. And it's stories coming right from the heart. It's not, or very emotional stories. And what we've done in our trip, let me look at it while, and I like to start with me tonight, because I know I'm going to lose my voice. When we first started doing this, I never thought that we would be helping people along the way. And it was very hard when you sit with an 80-year-old man and he's telling a story of the things he come through, of the things we came through when we were in a residential school. I'll tell my story, so you can see what we went through. When I was a little girl, I was about 6 years old, 5, someplace there. And before that, we weren't very rich, but we were happy in our home. My granny was there, my dad, and my brothers and sisters, my 2 uncles. And it wasn't I bet you it wasn't even this big, our little house. But there was laughter, we used to pray a lot, our churches were full. Every Sunday, no matter what, winter time, we used to walk to church. and you heard laughter. I used to have a big ugly radio, but with a great big battery, just like a car battery. I don't know if any of you would remember, but that's the kind of And Don Messer used to play there, and I used to dance. Oh, I love dancing, as a little girl. I remember that, and they used to call me a little princess because I used to dance, and I used to be so proud of that. That's what I remember about my home. And this was beyond 6 years, when I was 6 years old. And then one fall, my dad and mom didn't drink that much. Yes, there was some, but it wasn't that bad the way they were after we were taken away. In the fall of 1950, a great big army truck drove up to our place. An army truck with a green top. And it came right up to the house. And then there was a little black car. And these two men come out of the car. It was an RC, it was a cop and an Indian agent. And then there was another man there. He had a white collar on. I remember that. And he had a long black coat on and a hat. He come up to my dad and he said, Norman, that was my dad's name, these kids gotta go to school. And my dad said, they're gonna go to school here. It was a day school. And my dad couldn't speak English. He couldn't. Anyway, they said, no, Norman, they're gonna go to school. And then our minister took my little sister by the hand and took him, and you're just gonna come for him. I was gonna take off, but they grabbed me. My brother took off in the bush. My little brother, my dad just held him tight. And my big sister, they just grabbed her and threw her in that army truck. I hung on to my dad, that was the first and the whole time I see my dad cry, hanging on to me. And that was it. We left. We didn't come home for a year. And it was like that for 10 years of my life. 10 years. And out of that 10 years, I think I came home 3 or 4 times. Because from the residential school, I was put in a foster home. I don't know why. Even today, I still don't know why. Was it my dad's idea to be in a foster home? I don't know. That's one thing my dad never talked about, was when we were taken away. Because they were drunks. They just went to alcohol. When all the kids were gone, all the people in James Smith, the ones that lost their kids, became alcoholics. I know that. Because it's written in that book that's going around, some stories that was given to us from James Smith people. And it's like that every reserve we went to. We went Fond du Lac, all those reserves. My husband and I went. And that's the same thing they said. When we were taken away, our parents started to drink. That's when we lost all the things we used to do, the hunting, making big gardens, and striving to live. Because it wasn't like, we weren't poor all the time. We strived to live. We had big gardens. I remember we had 1 cow and we had 2 horses. That was rich, at that time. But the richness was the love that we had in our home. Our grandparents, my granny, sitting in a corner telling stories at night while the light was flickering. There was no power at that time. And dancing and laughter and getting along and everything. When I came home, after 3 years, I was 9 years old when I came home. I got off this truck When I walked into my room, I couldn't believe it. My granny was sitting in the corner, drunk. And I never seen her drunk. My dad, he was drunk. He didn't even come and pick us up because he was too drunk. My uncles were drunk. And there was nothing in the cupboard. That is when I knew what hunger was. When I got home, when I was 9 years old. Just like I didn't belong there. Nobody even hugged me. No. The last hug I remember was when my dad was hanging on to me. Nobody even said anything. They just stood there looking at me. It's like something struck me. And I was I thought I was an alien when I walked into my home. It becomes kind of graphic from here for a little while, but I have to tell you what happened because of residential school. The parenting was gone. The respect for the little princess was gone. It was different. We were sexually abused in school, in the dorms. And then I come home and the same thing happened. I was no longer that pretty little girl. I always remember that. Although there was all kinds of things that went on residential school, I didn't like it where I was. But I didn't want to go back to residential school. And when I first came back, that's when I knew what residential school did to my parents. My mom walked away on my dad the month he was taken away. Probably she figured there was no use staying. What am I going to look after? She just walked away. Never came back. She never came back. I was 11 years old when she died. She got killed here just north of Melford. That little road. I have a hard time going up on that road. And if you want to check the story up, it's in the library. It was in 1955, September 21st. They found an Indian woman wrapped in a blanket and run over and over again. And that was my mom. I guess after she left our home, and she left us, she became a street worker or something. We weren't even allowed to come to her funeral. My auntie, Grace Bedard, come and look for us at the school. We were in Gordon's. She come up there and look for us to come home for my mother's funeral. We weren't allowed. I never had closure with my mom because she left us when I was 8 years old. I was angry at her. In fact, it got to the point I hated her because I thought if she didn't leave us, the things that happened at home wouldn't have happened. She would have been there to protect us. So those are the things that happened when we came back from residential school. It was never the same. The parents just went kaput. why I say I know what hunger is. We lived here in a tent in Melford. We used to live in tents. Not just my dad and my brothers. I remember running around in Melford, reading gardens. I remember stealing. I remember looking in the garbage bins. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for residential school. My dad was a good provider. I used to remember eating wild meat when I was a little girl. You know, garden, the potatoes and everything. That's why I say residential schools, they destroyed a hell of a lot. And to this day, even when I talk to my people, when I talk to somebody that has been to residential school and they tell me their story, they're shaking. This is the truth. This is what happened. I lost my language. I lost my culture. I lost my traditions. I lost my spirituality because we weren't allowed to talk our language in them schools. We couldn't defend ourselves. And you know, our churches used to be full before residential school. I remember that, walking to church, skipping along. The churches used to be full, especially on Easter. Easter was a special day. You got to get a new dress. I remember my uncle. He only had one leg, but he was sewing at night. I didn't realize he was making me a little dress. I always remember that. There were so much losses. There were so many things that we couldn't even talk for ourselves. And in school, residential school, girls on one side, boys on one side. You did not get to talk to your brother for a whole bloody year. And there was no such things as boyfriends and girlfriends. I don't know how I became boyfriends with this guy. I went to school with him. He was in the same residential school. But we happened to be friends somehow along the way. But because I think we were friends because we dealt with the same thing. We used to talk about what happened to us. When I first found out, when I told him what happened to me in school, and when he told me what happened to him in school, I couldn't believe it because at that time I didn't know that men do things like that. You know, them steps, I used to hear them coming, and I used to just keep still, real still, hoping they go by my bed. No wonder we came out angry out of them schools. We were full of anger because that's what they put in us. We were angry because we lost our language. We couldn't talk to each other in our little language what we had. Today, I see a lot of young people committing suicides. You know, there's a lot of parents out there that didn't deal with their issues, that didn't deal with what I dealt with. I know how to love. I know how to have. Because I worked with elderly people for 28 years, 29 years. They taught me how to get my language back. I was a hell of a poor parent. I didn't know how to parent. Because I lost that when I lost my mom and dad. When I was away from them for 10 years, 11 years. You know, I always wish I could turn the clock back and parent my kids. I only had 3, but I didn't do a very good parenting. They didn't even know how to hug because I never hugged them. They were 12, 13 years old when we finally quit drinking. It was too late. My little girl, same thing happened to her, what happened to me when I was a little girl. And today, she still deals with it. We have little circles in my little family, and we talk. We talk so we can forgive each other for what we've done. When I got married, I told him, I said, if I ever have a little girl, she will not what happened to me. It's going to be a little girl that will grow up to be a nice girl. But it did happen to her because of my drinking. We drank. We drank and drank. We were rubbish. We were alcoholics. This guy wasn't even allowed in Melford. We walked with our heads down. It took me a long time to be proud of what I am and who I am. And to be able to say, I love you. And to be able to hug him. You know, I deprived him of what he was supposed to get, what we're supposed to give to our husbands. Because I hated men. I married him because I wanted protection from him. Just like I told him one time, I used to walk around, I said, just like there was a sign that said sexually abuse me. Because everywhere I went, just like that's what I was looking for. But I wasn't. You know, I'm not the only woman. There's a lot of women, our Indian women, that went through the same thing. A lot of our Indian people. I don't want pity. I want the same thing what I've done, to be forgiven. It's not our fault the way we are. You know, long ago we were so spiritual. We had nice traditions. We had good food, good homes. I lost a son, 2008, my firstborn. When you're drinking, you have to fight in front of our kids. You have to clean up our mess after a big party. I always remember one time, my little girl, she was only 9 years old. We were drunk Christmas Eve. They come and look at us in the bar. Look for us in the bar, Kingsmoor bar. My oldest son came in. Mom, do you have any money? Remember you said you had Christmas presents for us in Melford. Yeah, I got money. I went and took all his money away and just took enough for me. I gave him 700, I remember. Go and get the groceries and get your gifts out. I'll come home after and cook. I didn't go home. I got drunk. I was laid out in the morning. I smelled something. I thought it was dreaming. I smelled sweet stuff and come on, Mom, it's Christmas. My little girl was standing there with a little apron. 9 years old, she made Christmas. She cooked a turkey. She cooked some pies and cake. My job. And they've been packing their own Christmas. They even had this old lady that took them to town told me they even bought a Christmas tree. You had to tie it on top of the car. Evelyn, you got beautiful kids. We're just running around, such as like buying this, buying that. Never forget that. I had to live with that. In 1981, we quit drinking. In 1978, we kept fighting, angry, not doing everything what was supposed to be done with our parents, although we were sober. That's when I seen this sign at the school, inner child workshop, men and women. Inner child, what the hell is that? So we both went. They really dug in your guts and really thought out. I cried so much there, I just had headaches. What they were saying was right. Just the rest of that was. That's why I was so angry. Hateful. I even turned away from my Lord. And today, I'm still training to be a minister. I started 5-6 years ago. Because I know it's Him that got me to where I am today. Today, I help other people try and deal with their issues. Because that's the only way we're going to heal if we have to go back to our tradition and our own culture. We can't be like somebody else. We got to be ourselves. You can't throw away your own culture. You can't throw away your traditions. Today, I know how to hug. Guess who taught me how to hug? My grandchildren. I raised 4 sets of kids and I quit drinking. I raised my own kids, which I made a mess of. Then I raised my sister's kids, my brother's kids, my own grandchildren. Those are the ones that taught me what love is. They taught me how to forgive. You can give them a little tap on the bum. In a minute, they'll turn around and come and hug. You know, there's so many people yet still crawling around. Not till they start dealing with the garbage on their backs. Then they can turn around and start living. I'm happy to be alive. I lost a lot of it. I'm 71 years old. But my grandchildren think I can still play hockey. Come on, Granny, you be the goalie. You know, I play ball. I play dolls. I wonder where I would have been. I would have been 6 feet under the ground if I didn't know that God will help me through. 1978, I told him, God help me. You're there, help me. Because I hated living the way I was. Drunk. I lost half of my life doing it. Because I didn't want to face what happened to me. We lost everything. To respect each other, to love, to respect other people, to understand, to listen. I'm glad I worked as a CHR for 29 years. That's where I got my language back. That's where I learned how to get respect back. Because most of our elders didn't drink, not like before. Today now, most of our elders are clean. They don't drink. But we're having a hell of a time trying to help our young people. There's still lots and lots of work, but it's her job. That's her job now. She's a hell of a good woman with the youth, with people. I admire her. But that's their job now, after we do ours. I was telling him this today in a restaurant. I said, you know what, Dad? I watched you today. Walking. You're getting old. Maybe we should quit. We've been working all our lives even before when we were drinking. I don't think we ever been on welfare, but I'm not bragging. We worked hard, and I told him maybe it's time we quit. And he said, no. But now, here's the only way I can help. I don't know. Help people. I write things on Facebook. Try and wake up the youth. Cover you. You know, I feel beautiful. When I walk into a restaurant, my grandsons all come running up to me, kissing me. Handsome boys. My grandsons. Oh, Granny, I love you, you know. You're not shy. I got little white grandsons. I got 2 of them. And at PA Fair, this lady come up to me, how come you're going around with white kids? They're my grandchildren, you know. And then white kids, they don't care what the hell they eat the same thing in my house, you know. Because one of them says I'm treated, and the other one says he's Indian. I don't know what's the difference, but that's, you know. But he's proud to be an Indian. His mom is white, beautiful woman, and a beautiful mother. She goes around all over following them little boys for hockey in Harlow home, and she's a teacher. That was my oldest son's woman. And he left 2 little boys, and they just look like him. You know, they're white, but they look like him. So with that, thank you for listening. And God bless you guys. You know, you're going to help us. We've got to get back to where we were a long time ago. Happy, loving, understanding, giving, forgiving. Those are the things we have to give back to our children, because they're still lost, a lot of them. Every morning I pray for our children, our youth. Drugs and alcohol. And we go and talk to them. You won't quit. You won't give up. Even one comes out of there. That's a job well done. So my dear, it's up to you, my dear.
Well, my name is Riley. I always start off like that. I've been in residential school for 10 years also. I rode in the back of a truck to go to school. I didn't know the first thing about English, nothing. All I knew was my language. I went with my little brother and my sister, the older sister, the second oldest. She used to go to school in All Saints in PA, and we took her out. And that's supposed to protect us, I guess, when we got there. But we rode behind his little truck. 3 families rode there. Big canvas thing. The only day we were there, we stopped and they gave us a lunch. I don't know. Them sandwiches were made 3 days or 4 days ago. They were so hard. But they were bologna sandwiches. They didn't taste as good. Then we got to the school. Finally made it. The board called us out. We were lined up in groups, in the age groups. I was in, the oldest and very young guy was same age as I was in that group. My little brother was over here, my sister way back there. That's the last time I seen my brother for a long time. And I walked into the washroom. There was basins of 14 basins on each side, maybe more. We were all standing there, took off our clothes. We all had brand new clothes. Their parents bought them brand new. Took them off. Did you guys ever watch Roots? That show Roots? Okay. They use sticks to look in their mouth, under their armpit, for the slaves, and that's what they done for us. So there's no bugs. We're standing there bare naked. Every one of us boys. Then we hauled into this big room. The water coming out of the wall. That water was real hot. It didn't burn our skin, but it was hot enough to make some of the kids cry. There was another group from a different reserve came in at the same time. And after they finished washing our, and they looked in our heads with sticks, looking for them bugs. They didn't find any. And all of a sudden they put the big water in a kind of a pan. They put it on the lip. It burned your eyes, but I don't know what the hell was in the DDT or something. My eyes burned. And they dusted off. And they turn around, okay, move on over here. Inspect your fingers, your under your armpits, your between your legs, everything. The tools. And they gave us our tools. They gave us 2 sets of tools each. 2 of everything. You had your number. My number was number 11. That was my name, number 11. After we got our tools, then we went to the dormitory. Then we put on our clothes, our pants, our big overalls, you know them. I always used this story, Tom Sawyer story. All they were a little big pants. That's the kind we had. They were the same height as Tom Sawyer too. They were short. So anyway, we got those on, went down to supper. Man alive, I don't know. I was hungry that day. I was hungry for the rest of the year. All a soup and half a sandwich. And quarter of milk half. With the real luck then, the cattle were still there. Up a couple more. And we were sent to bed. We're still dealing. I didn't know nothing how to talk to them or see and heard or anything like that. I didn't like the food. I didn't have a chance. And we were taught how to sit at the table. I didn't slouch the way I am right now. Somebody come along, poke you on the back, and you sit up straight. Take your own benches and big ones, maybe 50 pigeon each table. And you sat up.